Mr. Chair, I just want to put the discussion in perspective kasi po, katulad po nung binanggit sa resolution, yung policy on addressing the issue of COVID-19 at ano yung mga problema sa Department of Health, no, sa mga policies na implement niya. Siguro po, Mr. Chair, kailangan mailagay natin sa isip natin na sa ngayon, talagang napakahirap nung legislation that we want to do, although we want that immediately. Pero nandito rin po tayo sa isang sitwasyon na kailangan nating address yung problema ng ating bansa. Yung problema ng mga nahawa sa COVID at yung mga namamatay. When we started the hearing, we were at 13,000 deaths. Ngayon po, 22,000 na. After only about 1 month. We started the end of almost April, 2 months. 22,000 na po ang namamatay. So, noong una po, ang aking tinitingnan dito yung PISMID, talaga pong hindi ko nagustuhan yung kanilang mga recommendations. Kasi kung titingnan nyo yung recommendations nila, talagang lahat bawal. Vitamin C, ang zinc, vitamin D, and this is actually the policy of the Department of Health. Is this not correct, Secretary Duque po?
I am not sure na pinagbabawal yan, Mr. Chairman. Kasi for example, zinc, that has been long recognized as very quite helpful in prevention of upper respiratory tract infection. So vitamin C has also been recognized as helping in improving resistance, no? So I'm not sure about where that is coming from. That it is not allowed by PISMID.
Yes, maraming salamat, Secretary Duque, because that clarifies the issue. Kasi nga po nung una, ako po ay hindi naniniwala at hindi ako sumusunod sa protocol na gusto ng PISMID. Pero it would seem, pagdating po sa remdesivir at ivermectin, ito po yung sinusunod ng Department of Health. If you go to the guidelines, living guidelines ng PISMID, yan po ang kanilang sinasabi. Importante po yung statement nyo, Secretary Duque, because kayo po yung policy. Marami po kayong tinatanggap na iba't ibang rekomendasyon, but eventually, the buck stops with the Department of Health. In fact, kahit na po kay Pangulo, ang sinusundan niya, no, during the question and answer hour, tinatanong niya yung FDA. So batay dun sa sinabi niyo, and I hope DOH will check this, yung po nakalagay. They are recommending against vitamin C, recommending against zinc, recommending against, yung binanggit ni DS Atienza, yung sukob. In fact, yung sinabi ng DOST, magandang virgin coconut oil, they're also recommending against. So okay. So yan po, nakalagay po dyan. So Secretary Duque, doon po sa mga, kayo po ba mag-agree? Because I'm sure in the IATF and Department of Health, na ito pong kauna-unahang pagkakataon dito sa ivermectin that doctors are independently conducting and submitting their trials. Do you agree on this?
I'm not aware that they are doing this and have registered with the appropriate agency, which is supposed to issue the guidelines on the conduct of trials. Ang alam ko po, ang DOST ang may mandato niyan.
Okay,
so
pero ito po,
may be allowed, but with the imprimatur of the appropriate agency. Kasi may proseso pong dinadaanan yan. Maybe
Opo.
si DG Montoya can give you a more definitive answer to that, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Chairman, kaya ko po na-raise to as a matter of fact lang po that for the first time, sa lahat po tinitingnan ko yung mga drugs, ang mga doktor mismo are making their own initiative, conducting their own trials, and submitting these trials. Of course, to the FLCCC, ito po yung independent group sa US, independent group sa yung BIRD, which they are also submitting to their respective authorities. Are you aware of this, Mr. Chair?
Not to that extent, Your Honor, Mr. Chairman. maybe the DOST can give us guidance on this or enlighten us on this. DG Montoya, if Mr. Chairman, can you please recognize DG Montoya?
Yes, DDG Montoya. I understand, Mr. Chair, Secretary de la Peña already mentioned about many trials happening. But yes, go ahead, Director Montoya, go ahead.
Yes, Honorable Chair, Your Honor. Just like to clarify the question. The question is regards to the need for doing clinical trials. Is that correct?
No, Mr. Chair, my question is, kasi po, dun sa aking nakikita, and binention naman to ni D.S. Marcoleta and all the other congressmen, first time po nakita na isang gamot, iba't ibang doktor sa buong mundo ang nagsusumite ng mga trials. Independent. And as of now, 56 trials have already been conducted by 469 scientists of 18,000 patients. So it's just a matter of fact na tinatanong ko, are we aware that there are already trials being conducted by many doctors independently?
Yes po, we are aware of that, na marami po mga trials na natapos na at kasalukuyang ongoing pa po. We are monitoring those as well po.
Thank you, Director Montoya. And are we aware that for Pfizer vaccine that we gave emergency use authorization, there was only one clinical trial? Isa lang po
Kung
ang
ang
Pfizer.
tinatanong niyo po ay yung Pfizer vaccine po,
Opo.
masasabi ko lang po yan as far as we are concerned kasi kami po involved lang doon sa vaccine expert panel. Marami po pag-aaral na ipinakita po, hindi lang po isa kasi marami pong mga phases po yung trial na isinagawa ng Pfizer po bago sila nakarating sa phase 3. At tinignan po lahat yan ng vaccine expert panel.
Tama po kayo. Sa phase 3 trial po, isa lang po ang ginawa nila, and I have here the New England Journal of Medicine where it was published. Secretary Duque may respond because this is from a medical point of view.
Yes, I believe I confirm what DG Montoya has just said, no? That the vaccine expert panel is the one tasked to review all the dose shares, all the clinical trial data, and they also review peer-reviewed journals, no, and research articles on the same, no. So yan, tama kayo, may Lancet, yan kasama yan sa evaluation. Meron kasing task group ang DOST. They had the task group on selection and evaluation. So kasama po lahat yan, Your Honor, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Now, Mr. Chair, pumasok na yung pag-uusap doon sa trial and value judgment. From a policy point of view, lahat po ng gumamit na bansa ng ivermectin, kaya po critical dito, Secretary Duque, that there should be a public policy. Kasi po, katulad kami, nung nag-distribute sa Matandang Balara, ang katotohanan po, ang CIDG nandun, they were observing. I'm not sure if FDA was there, but I'm sure they were there. They were observing. Pagkatapos biglang nagkaroon kayo ng pag-file sa PRC to investigate the doctors. Bakit yung mismong trial na ginagawa, kung epektibo to, hindi yun ang tinitingnan natin? Now, going back to my point, tiningnan nyo na ba ang experiences ng Mexico, Peru, Slovakia, Czech Republic, Bolivia, Panama, Nicaragua, Egypt, at ngayon po India? Nakita na po ba natin kung nung ginamit nila on a mass distribution, bumagsak ang nagkasakit at namatay sa ivermectin?
Maybe Director Montoya, Mr. Chairman, be recognized once again. Thank you.
Mr. Chair, I'd just like to clarify kasi po, question of policy to This is from a policy point of view, from the Congress point of view, nakita namin itong mga bansan to bumagsak nung gumamit ng mass distribution. So I'm asking the Department of Health or the health authorities, IATF, nakita ba natin o tiningnan ba natin at inobserbahan, pinag-aralan yung pagbagsak ng pagkahawa at pagkamatay nung nagkaroon ng mass distribution ng ivermectin?
Kasi ang world data, makikita natin even in the Philippines with very negligible use of ivermectin, dahil kukonti pa lang ang nakakagamit, the recovery rate right now is already 94%. So even without ivermectin, it is clear. Even in the world data, makikita nyo, 98% yata ang recovery rate globally. So parang mahirap naman po na sasabihin natin it's because of ivermectin. So look at our historical data since our pandemic in the Philippines started. Consistently until pagkatapos ng nag-spike tayo ng April, May, the recovery rate has gone back to more than 90%, and which was the same figure after our surge in July, August. Noong September, October, November, you can look at the data, mataas ang recovery rate natin. So parang mahirapan naman po tayo sabihin, parang sa dengue rin yan no? Dengue's death rate, case fatality rate, is 0.3%, 0.3 to 0.5%. Now, some people before would just claim X product caused the recovery of X number of dengue patients. No? X product saved the lives of X number of patients. But if you look at the data, the epidemiologic data, makikita mo that the recovery rate sa dengue is 99.7%. So anything that you give may be loosely attributed to certain drugs or certain medicines. We're not discounting, no? We're not saying ito walang epektong maganda. But what I'm saying is the data, look at the data, the recovery rate globally is more than 95%. So sa atin is about 97%, 94%. And then our serious and critical cases, the percentage will be about roughly 2%. No? And then mild would be about 1.5%. For all the active cases, makikita natin, recovery rate ang taas-taas.
Secretary Duque, totoo po yan. If you look at 22,000 people with 100 million population, malit yung 22,000 na matay. Pero sinasabi po natin, hindi dapat namatay yung mga taong yun. Now, if we look at the data, again, adverse events, pag kinumpara po natin ang remdesivir, kinumpara natin ang vaccines, there are more adverse events on these particular drugs on COVID-19 than ivermectin. So parang sinasabi po, now I'm looking at the policy statements that you're saying now, mukha po talaga hindi tayo papayag sa ivermectin at mukha hindi natin papayagan yung mass distribution. Yan po talaga nakikita kong posisyon ng Department of Health. Because on the one hand, yung PISMID nagsabi, ito pwede, sabi nila hindi pwede vitamin C, yung zinc, pero sabi nyo hindi, kailangan yan. Pero pagdating dito naman sa ivermectin, sinusundan natin sila based on the data, which if we look at the entirety of the data, ivermectin will still be the safest. Siya pa rin po ang pinakamura at pinakanakikita naming epektibo na gamot. Now, I will go back to my next point. Sinabi po ninyo, malakas ang recovery. Magkano na po ang nagastos natin sa PhilHealth on COVID?
I think the PhilHealth representative is on board.
Yes, Mr. Eli Santos.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Can we direct SVP Eli Santos to respond?
Yes, SVP Santos, you may respond.
Well, good afternoon, Mr. Chair. Good afternoon, members of the committee. At the present moment, Mr. Chair, I do not have that specific data. May I be given a few moments, Mr. Chair, to obtain it and get
Okay,
back
we
to you.
will go back to you after 10 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Yes. Sa ngayon po, Mr. Chair, the last discussion we had, ang sinasabi nila is 15 billion na po ang nagastos natin on the PhilHealth funds. Nagrereklamo na po yung mga frontliners natin na nahirapan yung mga ospital, nakapila na po sa labas. Then nagkaroon po tayo ng lockdown. Ang ekonomiya po natin pinakamababa na, bagsak sa Southeast Asian nations. We are at negative 4.2% relative to the other countries. So again, as a matter of policy, hindi lang po to simpleng yung nagamot ba to o nagawa ba to, but as a matter of policy, balancing the risk and the benefit, babalik po ako dun sa aking katanungan, bakit masyadong ginigipit ang ivermectin at ang mga doktor na nagtutulak nito? Because Mr. Chair, Secretary Duque, I'm sorry for asking this. I have good information that you even called the PRC to investigate the doctors, if I'm not mistaken. I hope that could be clarified.
Again, that was responded to. Mr. Chairman, I would like to ask that you recognize Yusek Berhere on the circumstances surrounding this report to PRC on the doctors prescribing ivermectin.
Before the reply, Mr. Chairman, kaklaro ko lang ho Noong una ho, hinuli yung mga nagpo-produce ng ivermectin, compounding. Later on, sinabi ng FDA, pwede na yan. And doctors can do off-label. Kami po ni Doc DS Marcoleta, nagkaroon po ng medical mission with the 4 doctors sa Matandang Balara. And in fact, we were monitored there. And I know that we were monitored during that time. Pagkatapos po noon, bigla pong nagkaroon ng complaint coming from DOH. Naglabas ng statement ang Philippine Medical Association and Philippine Colleges of Physicians na bawal mag-prescribe ng ivermectin. So you can see, talagang ginigipit po yung ivermectin. So yes, Yusek Bergere, you may respond. Thank you.
Yes, good afternoon po, Congressman Defensor. With regard to the letter that we have sent to the Professional Regulatory Commission, this was in consideration of the reports that were submitted to the Department of Health that we needed to act on. And based from the reports, it was mentioned in the report that there were doctors who have written prescriptions for ivermectin during this pantry, that the prescriptions were incorrect. It was written, these were written on notepads, and the other incorrect information or proper filling out of prescription form. So that was what we have written to the Professional Regulatory Commission for further investigation. That was all that we did, and that was all that we have relayed to the Professional Regulatory Commission, Mr. Chair and Congressman Defensor.
Thank you po, Mr. Chair. For the record lang po, Yusek Vergere, do you have the copy furnished of the report?
Yes, sir.
Would you know kung sino po yung nag-report?
Sandali lang po. We received it from 2 separate media institutions that was forwarded to us, sir.
Okay, so there was a reporting. Hindi ho yan ni-report sa inyo. Ni-report yan sa media, motu proprio, kayo nag-file sa DOH, sa PRC. So yan po yung nangyari. So again, I go back to my point. Talaga pong nagiginigipit yung mga doktor. Now, papasok po sa Philippine Medical Association. Mr. Eli Santos, are you ready there?
Mr. Chair, I'm still looking for the
Okay.
data, Mr. Chair.
Okay, different question. Alam ko, yung data ninyo, 15 billion yan initially. Siguro tumaas na yung ginastos ninyo. Now, I'm pointing out na 15 billion na nagastos sa PhilHealth for COVID because yung dinidismiss natin na ivermectin, na ganito nangyari, hindi mo naman klaro ang data, yung epekto, yan po ang epekto niyan. 15 billion immediately from the PhilHealth. Hindi pa ho natin alam kung magkano pa yung ginastos. Ngayon, tanong ko Mr. Eli Santos, bakit ang Philippine Medical Association binibigyan nyo ng right na mag-accredit ng doktor para makakuha ng PhilHealth, benefits? Who gave you that right and what is the legal basis of that?
Mr. Chair, that is found under the Universal Healthcare and the National Health Insurance Law, Mr. Chair.
There is none about the Philippine Medical Association.
With respect, Mr. Chair, to accrediting healthcare professionals, Mr. Chair.
O nga po, pero bakit po kailangan sila magkaroon ng PMA accreditation bago nyo sila bigyan ng accreditation?
You're correct, Mr. Chair.
Okay, so dapat tanggalin nyo yan, Mr. Santos, dahil dun po sa investigation natin, 5,000 healthcare workers ang may kaso. Wala akong nakitang inimbestigahan ng Philippine Medical Association. So I have to take out that requirement because yung requirement po na yan, ang ginagamit ng Philippine Medical Association para gipitin yung mga doktor na mag-prescribe ng ivermectin. Pag hindi kayo sumunod sa protocol nila, kung ano yung gusto nila, yun ang ginagawa ng Philippine Medical Association. Ipapatanggal yung PhilHealth accreditation nyo. So Mr. Eli Santos, do you have a commitment na tatanggalin nyo yung PMA as part of the accreditation process?
Mr. Chair, I will commit to bring this matter, Mr. Chair, to the PCO and to the board, Mr. Chair, so that they will recommend that this requirement will be removed, Mr. Chair. Thank you, Mr.
Thank
Chair.
you for that. Thank you for that. Pangalawa, Secretary Duque, I'll go back to Remdesivir. Sinabi ho ng WHO, hindi na ho yan pwede. Sabi ho ng WHO, last year pa ho yan. Ngayon ho, ang sinasabi, meron silang special permit. Alam nyo, Secretary Duque, lahat po ng ospital, pag may sakit ka ng COVID, pumasok ka, Remdesivir kagad ang isasaksak sa'yo. So why is it that we're doing that? Pagdating sa ivermectin, sabi ng WHO, hindi pa ho sinabing hindi pwede, clinical trial lang, hinihinto natin, pagdating po sa Remdesivir, na sinasabing hindi talaga pwede, pilit pa ho natin pinapagamit sa mga mamamayan natin and the cost is very high for them. Yung 1,000 sa India, binibenta po dito 10,000 to 15,000 sa mga kababayan natin.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Ang alam ko po, ang Remdesivir is one of the investigational drugs which has been granted the Compassionate Special Permit by FDA. Kahapon, galing ako sa Southern Philippines Medical Center, nag-inspect ako ng COVID situation sa mga ospital, pati yung Davao Regional Medical Center. Tinanong ko sa kanila, totoo ba yung mga Remdesivir ninyo nagkakahalagang umaabot 10 hanggang 15,000 piso? Sabi nila, hindi sir. Ang amin bili sa Remdesivir is 1,500 pesos per vial. So, yun ang latest na natanggap ko na pricing on the ground. Pero wala rin akong makita naman na ang WHO may kautusan o may advisory na sinasabing walang kwenta o hindi pwedeng gamitin ang Remdesivir. So, meron naman po tayong mga Health Technology Assessment Council na nilikha sa ilalim ng Universal Healthcare Law at sila po kasama ang living clinical practice guidelines nagbigay ng positive recommendation. Kanya pwede kong pa-recognize kay Ginoong Chair si Dr. Melissa Guerrero to give us more details on this particular issue. So, in fact, ang pharmaceutical division na nakatanggap ng 65 na reklamo on overpricing of Remdesivir. At 35 dito ay inendorso na sa DTI, sa kanilang Legal Enforcement Bureau. So maybe, Mr. Chair, can we ask Dr. Guerrero to give...
Dr. Guerrero, you're recognized. Please respond.
Yes po, Mr. Chair and Secretary Duque, sinagot na po
Dr. Guerrero, before
Yes,
you
sir.
reply, para
Opo.
isang sagutan na lang. Andito po sa akin ang WHO study na ginawa. And very clear ho dito, on the Remdesivir, we suggest against administering Remdesivir in addition to standard care. So, okay, please reply po dito.
Okay po. Ngayon po ay hindi pa talaga final yung analysis po ng trials for Remdesivir at sinabi po ni Dr. Isa Alejandria who heads the Solidarity Trial for the Philippines.
Dr. Guerrero, saan
Yes,
yung
po.
nauna hindi pa final?
Yun po,
Ito na nga yung binasa ko.
There is no strong recommendation pa po, pero sinasabi po ng Solidarity Trial na matatapos na po yung analysis. So doon po natin malalaman talaga kung ano na po yung kanilang final analysis po.
No, Dr. Guerrero, niloloko niyo po yung taong bayan. Ang nakalagay po sa WHO study, ang dali ho, ngayon nandito yung computer, I can just upload it. We are recommending against, conditional recommendation against. In fact, nilahad pa doon ng WHO na hindi nila nakikita yung benepisyo, nakikita nilang mahal to, at ito mismo nangyari sa ating mga kababayan. So, saan ang gagaling yung hindi pa tapos? May WHO statement po kayo?
Okay po. So ito po yung binigay na update po ni Dr. Isa Alejandria na anytime now po ay maglalabas po ang WHO ng final analysis po for the Solidarity Trial.
Sorry, Yusek Guerrero. Sorry po, Mr. Chair. Niloloko niyo po yung taong bayan. You have been saying that, Dr. Guerrero, but you have not given me any document. Wala po kayong pinapakita. Hindi sinabi ng WHO na hindi pa tapos. Sinabi ng WHO tapos na. They are recommending against. Ang nakalagay sa ivermectin, we are recommending clinical trials. Use it for clinical trials. Si Dr. Alejandria, pismid yan eh. Yun ang kayo sinasabi ni Secretary Duque na ayaw nila ng vitamin C, ayaw nila ng zinc. O sabi ni Secretary Duque ngayon, di ba? Na hindi, mali naman yun. Dapat payagan yung mga yun at dapat yun. So there is no, I'm sorry Mr. Chair, unless Yusek Guerrero, you have a statement from the WHO. Kasi ang sabi niyo noong una, WHO sundan natin. O ngayon, sinasabi ko naman sa inyo, ito yung sinabi ng WHO, pero ginagamit nyo pa rin ang remdesivir sa lahat halos ng ospital.
Sama po ang WHO sa pinapakinggan natin, pero meron din po tayong Living CPG Group na nag-a-advise po sa Department of Health. At doon nga po sa latest na analysis po nila, although wala nga pong strong evidence on the mortality, kinonsider po kasi nila yung hospitalization days. So meron pong benepisyo in terms of pagbabawas po ng hospitalization days, which is an important outcome for the clinicians. So yun po yung...
Sa madaling salita, Dr. Guerrero, pag gusto niyo sundan ng WHO, susundan ninyo. Pag ayaw niyong sundan, hindi niyo susundan. Kasi pagdating sa remdesivir, ayaw niyong sundan. So pinapagamit sa tambayan. Pagdating sa ivermectin, sinusundan ninyo. Clinical trial lang.
We value po kasi the advice of our experts din po locally. So
I know that you value, but do not argue with me na sasabihin ninyo may WHO kayo dahil mali ho kayo. Wala kayong WHO. Wala ho kayong WHO. The WHO has been saying hindi yan dapat gamitin ng taong bayan. Napakamahal niyan. And I'm sorry to say, magpa-file kami ng case about it. Ngayon, papasok ako sa isa pang tanong. Face shield. Tayo na lang ang gumagamit niyan sa buong ASEAN, sa buong Asia. Nasa living recommendations din ba yan, yung face shield?
We can review po the evidence, pero last year po, kasama po yung face shield dun sa nirecommend sa IATF po.
Kita nyo, again, Mr. Chair, pati sa WHO, hindi na ho sinasabi ang face shield. Ang dami na ho nahuli, may doktor pang nahuli. Nagbabike, gusto nila naka-face shield. Yung pagka-prone niya sa pagka-aksidente, kinulong po yung doktor na yon. At yung kanyang benefit at risk as regards COVID-19, and I'm sure no, sa mga healthcare workers, I'm still okay with that, yung nagpapaswab test. Pero yung face shield na po yan, dapat nating tanggalin. Dr. Guerrero, so can you please, will you review that?
Yes, sir. We can review the evidence.
So, Mr. Chair, in summary, tingnan niyo po nangyayari. Ang tingin ko po, and not from a scientific point of view, but from a country experience, ivermectin should be distributed. Napakamura po niyan. Grabe na ang epekto sa ating ekonomiya, grabe na ang epekto sa ating healthcare system. I'm just talking of PhilHealth, 15 billion na ho of the last check, and this was months ago. Hindi ko na ho alam magkano nagagastos natin. Ang epekto po sa ekonomiya natin, napakalaki. Tayo na po ang pinakababa, negative 4.3%. Nandito na po ang India variant. At nadami na naman po ang magkakasakit dahil tinanggal na natin yung lockdown. In the statement, letter given by the Philippine Chamber of Commerce, yung iba't iba pong business groups who signed this letter, and if I may read po, sinasabi na ho nila, ito, si Mr. Ortiz, Employers Echo, Philippine Chamber of Commerce Industry, si Mr. Yulo of Chamber of Commerce of the Philippine Islands, Federation of Philippine Industries, Philippine Bar Association, Federation of Philippine Industries, Mr. Alberto Lina, si Atty. Rico Domingo sa Philippine Bar Association, former Senator Lina sa Sagot Kitabayan, Cory Quirino, Volunteers Against Crime, Atty. Nage, Maritime Law Association, and so on and so forth. Sinasabi na po nila, bigyan natin ng chance ang ivermectin because this is not only a health issue, but an economic issue. So that's number one. Number two, yung remdesivir po, grabe pagpapahirap sa bayan. Sinabi na o dati, hindi na pwede ng WHO, patuloy natin ginagawa yung remdesivir. I'm happy that Secretary Duterte made a check on this at bumaba na. Pero previous to that, we have records na yung 1,000 o 500 pesos binili sa India, binibenta dito, 15,000, 20,000 pesos. And number three, yung face shield do. Para sa may hirap, napakakalaho natin, mura lang yan. Pero napakahirap po pag i-require natin yan. Sa lahat, tayo na lang ang bansa na nagre-require niyan. So Mr. Chair, ngayon na nilift na yung protocol na naman at makikita natin na naman yung pagkakaroon ng surge. Now, I believe that this is about time na yung DOH with the IATF, kung taka-policy, mura lang naman po ito eh. Hindi, wag po nilang gipitin yung ivermectin. Alam niyo, ginawa namin sa Old Balarayan. From 138 cases, we brought it down to 39. Pero nung ginawa, nagkaroon naman ng ayuda. Ng 6,000 people magkakatabi, magkakahalo-halo. Of the 600 check, 89 na naman ang positive. So ito po yung nagiging problema natin. But the ivermectin itself, from what we saw, yung pagbibigay namin, dahan-dahan nababagsak yung problema ng pagkahawa at pagkamatay. So Mr. Chair, ito po yung tatlong policy that I reiterate should be looked into. Hindi na ho natin kailangan ng batas, kailangan natin aksyonan kagad to. And lastly, yung living guidelines ng PISMID, which I don't think is helping our people. Maraming salamat, Mr. Chair.